Banjo is one of the coolest, most storied instruments. It's descended from West African, like Senegambian harp-like instruments, like the kamale ngoni. And then when people were taken across the Atlantic against their will, they made makeshift versions of these instruments, like for example the akonting. And they developed new ways of playing them, and they were made out of what people had access to. And so they were quite different, usually fretless. I think 3-stringed? I think the akonting had 3 strings traditionally. And that's where frailing banjo comes from, right? This style that's like, right? That like very, very distinctive bum-diddy pattern, that's from there. And then banjar, and then in the minstrelsy, unfortunately, a time in American history when white entertainment in America was largely based on parodying and exploiting Black culture. A very weird time in American history. Part of minstrel shows became banjar or banjo performances. It was bad. What happened back there? Part of the result of this was that banjos were made with European luthiering techniques, including frets and European-style, lute-style tuners. And there was sort of a weird hybrid instrument that came to exist. And then it got adopted all over the world, that like really cool sound of the skinhead, right? On it, this, right? That drum gives it this really plunky bell sound that just didn't exist anywhere else in the lute world. And so, once it had been lutified, with the exception of its 5th string, right? That 5th string comes in halfway down the neck, which is really distinctive because you don't find that on any other lute instrument, and it sort of betrays the history of this instrument as a harp, a partially fretless, fretted harp, but still a harp. Banjos are really interesting because people think of bluegrass as a really white genre, and there is a way that it is, but also that it totally isn't. Bluegrass would probably be derived from the blues, honestly. Kind of. So blues influenced bluegrass an enormous amount, but also a lot of things influenced bluegrass. Bluegrass is also really influenced by Irish music, and you can hear Irish rhythms in it. Old-time music, which is based around clawhammer banjo, yes, which is totally different from bluegrass. So bluegrass usually relies on 3-finger picking. So when I demonstrated my picking patterns, my banjo rolls before, I'm using 3 fingers, which you would see if my model was up a little bit more. Thumb, pointer, middle, right? You're using those 3 fingers. Now, there's also 2-finger picking style, which is thumb and pointer. And you do it sort of like you're holding a credit card in your hand, and you... Right? Right? And that's that clawhammer sound. And that is much older. That's what old-time music is largely based around, although a lot of old-time music is also based around, again, Irish fiddle tunes. So you get this, like, beautiful, beautiful melding of cultures. And, yeah. I guess that's kind of a fun thing for Black History Month, is banjos are an African instrument.